I'm like getting nervous because everybody came to this area of the park. I'm not crying, it's just really windy. I just had a really good day actually, but I was thinking about this video last night because I was feeling pretty lonely. I almost didn't finish filming this because I was like, oh, I feel good right now, like now's not a good time to film this, but I actually do feel like it's important to talk about. Almost all of my friends moved away this fall or they got married, or they got into a serious relationship with someone, or they're just like, they don't have the capacity to be around as much anymore. Oh, loneliness sucks. Sometimes it's not so bad. Sometimes I'm like, I have so many friends, I'm fine. And I'm really like lucky to have the friends that I had, but sometimes it makes me want to escape, it makes me want to leave, it makes me want to move away. It's kind of weird because I feel like I see a lot of like TikToks and reels of people glorifying being alone, not necessarily glorifying loneliness, but like masking loneliness under the guise of like, oh, I'm getting my bag, I'm staying in my lane. Even that one that's like, if you see me happy, leave me alone, I deserve this. And every time I see those, I'm like, well, why don't I feel that way when I'm alone? I think it's kind of interesting, especially the situation that we're all in right now. We just have been through a year of isolation that was important for our safety, important for the livelihoods of many of the people that we care about, but emotionally, it's going to take a long time for us to recover. In Erickson's stages of development, this period of my life is the stage of intimacy versus isolation, and it's learning what an important intimate relationship looks like, and it's discovering how to find connection in your life. I think it's so crazy that so many of us have had to begin that stage of our life, begin this period of learning intimacy versus isolation in isolation. I think that a lot of people have gone the other route. They've said, this is my time to be alone. I've been hurt by people before. I've been hurt by humanity before. I just see those TikToks sometimes and it seems like such a lie. Like if somebody actually felt that way, I think something's wrong. I think that as humans, we need connection. We need community. We need each other. And I think when I've been feeling lonely, the question that always comes back to me is, will someone be there when I need them? If I get in trouble, if I'm stuck, I hardly even know any of my neighbors. So I'm like, if I were to get hurt in my house, would I go to my neighbor's house? Or would I call a friend that lives halfway across town? We're in an age of social isolation while being connected socially through so many different forms of media. Like you can know so many different people just through your phone, but I think that presence is really important. I think the other part of isolation that is making us feel so alone is all we have to connect to people right now is our devices, our different forms of media. When we do connect with other people through that, we're seeing their highlight reels. And I think some people are relatively honest on social media, but like even if they are, it's still like a beautified version of their mess. Even me right now, I'm not in a bad mood right now, I'm in a good mood right now, but I do feel lonely a lot, especially this last year. I was talking to one of my coworkers and he was saying, oh, like I'm kind of a loner. And I was like, what? No, like you seem like you're always like out and about, like eating good and with your friends. And he was like, yeah, but that's just what you see on social media. That's a tiny percentage of our time. It might be a large percentage of our time looking at other people's time with their friends online. That might be a large percentage of our day looking at people having a good time. But in reality, that's only a small part of their day that they decided was good enough to share with you. That's something really important to keep in mind, is we don't have to feel stimulated or in the presence of people all the time. That's not normal, even though it's normal to see people together all the time through our little screens. It's been really, really hard to make new friends. I feel like the connections that I have made in this past year feel a little bit fake because I don't want to get too close to people. I don't know how comfortable other people are talking to me or getting close to me. I have a hard time hearing people. It's just tricky to navigate this new season. Making friends at work feels fake. Out in the world, at different places, not that I go out that much, but when I do go out, it feels weird. Like if I meet someone for 2.5 seconds, I just don't feel that that's gonna be a friend that I get to have, even though that's just a lie that I'm telling myself. I felt really embarrassed or nervous in a lot of the social interactions I've had in the last 6 months, a lot of like the happenstance interactions. Every conversation I have with people feels embarrassing, which is so weird because I'm not a person who's easily embarrassed around other people. When I'm out with my friends, I feel most myself. I'm gonna dance in the grocery store. I'm gonna embarrass them. But when I'm interacting with someone new, I don't want to make them feel like I'm weird. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I went out for coffee the other day by myself and I asked the barista, if you're not going here, like, where do you go? And she was like, haha, right? And I was like, yeah. And I like agreed with her and like laughed at her joke. But then I was also like, no, but like, if you're gonna go somewhere else, where are you going? And she was like, oh, but that conversation made me feel so uncomfortable. The whole way to the coffee shop, I was like, I'm gonna ask my barista where they like to go in the area for coffee, and I felt so awkward getting ready to do that. I don't want to say hi, how are you to someone and inconvenience them by wanting to have a conversation with them. When I have a conversation, I have this weird thing where I'm like, oh, I'm saying too much and they want to get out of here. I better wrap my story up really quickly. I just always feel like I'm talking too much. If somebody stops to have a conversation with you, they probably want to have a conversation with you. I think I just wish that I knew how to care about the other person more and ask those correct questions. I think that I really want to hear how other people are doing, or I really want to hear about other people's experiences, so much so that I cut myself off from contributing to the conversation. I'm in this weird spot now where like literally every single conversation I have with someone feels embarrassing. Is that social anxiety? The other thing that I've been struggling with is wanting to make friends with similar values. I know what good friendships feel like. I know that they take a lot of time. When I think about making new friends, that time, that investment is very daunting to me. If I make friends with somebody who has different values than me, or if I make friends with somebody and I spend a lot of time investing into that friendship and then I realize, oh, this is not a healthy friendship for me, will that time just be wasted? I think I have that thought and it prevents me from starting a friendship in the first place. Oh, chilly tone. Another thing that I've been thinking of is when I think about the friends that I have and the loneliness that I'm experiencing now, I hope that my friends pick up on the hints that I'm dropping, that like I need more attention or I need like more investment. But I'm realizing that that's not really their job. And I think that's one of the hard things about social isolation. It's not everybody else's job to make a connection with me if I'm feeling lonely. I need to invest in other people. And so I think that's like the difficulty that comes in of like I don't even want to start friendships, but yet I'm like, my friend doesn't text me to say want to hang out when I could literally do the same thing. So it's a double-edged sword. Last night when I was feeling really sad and sorry for myself, I watched a bunch of videos. I watched a HINDZ video and he was talking about enjoying your own presence, enjoying your own company. And one of the things that he said is you're not going to be alone forever, so enjoy the time that you do have alone. And I think that's true. I know that's true, but there is that voice in the back of your head that's like, well, what if I am? I think it's just learning how to like realize that you can get yourself out of this situation, even if it takes a while. One of my friends told me that her mom, when she was younger and she felt like she didn't have friends in school, would always say, your friends are out there, but you just haven't met them yet. And that's been one of the most encouraging thoughts that stayed in my mind. Another video that I watched, there was this holistic health coach. She was talking about the internal tantrum that we have when we're deciding whether we want to go out or not. I think that I have that in my day-to-day life. Even if I'm going to be alone by myself, I'm like, oh, I said yesterday that I was going to take myself to the beach and it's today. Do I actually want to go? And she said that you should honor the decision that you've made to go out with your friends or meet someone new, go out for coffee, or accept the responsibility for the way that you feel afterward. I think that's a very disciplined mindset to have. I think one thing that I'm learning more about and I'm really thankful for is nobody cares if you're alone in a room. Nobody cares if you go out by yourself, but we think that people do. And it hurts to be alone in a room full of people who are having conversations, and it hurts that nobody cares. But on the other hand, it's great that nobody cares. You can say hi to whoever you want. You can make a fool out of yourself and you can leave. Don't be afraid to be alone when there's other people around. Don't be afraid to take yourself out. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself to people. Don't be afraid to say hi. I think I have a goal for myself. It's to have one micro interaction every day, whether that's just to like go to the grocery store and say hi to someone, or to try to make a connection with my coworker, or to wave at someone on a walk or smile at someone. I think that that is one of the biggest ways that we can feel connected right now, is to see someone who is having the same experience as us and be able to make an interaction with that person, whether that's verbal or nonverbal. The other day, I was in the car. I was trying to get into this parking spot, and as soon as I was trying to turn in, this guy walked right through it. I just laughed at him and he smiled back. That was the best interaction that I had yesterday, and it pulled me out of my loneliness for a second, and it made me realize I'm a human, you're a human. We are connected in this moment just by the very fact that we both recognize each other. So I think that's my goal, to recognize someone every single day. I think my last word of encouragement for you before I freeze to death is just to say everyone feels lonely. I was thinking about it and praying about it the other day. Oh God, why do I have to feel lonely? It's so hard. Why are you making me go through this? I realized that Jesus felt lonely too, because I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, Jesus, God, you always had community with the Father and the Holy Spirit. I just remembered that Jesus felt loneliness too. Jesus felt abandonment on the cross when the Father turned his face away from him. He felt the depths of loneliness. Now he's in the abundance of glory, and one day we will get to be in the abundance of glory, in perfect communion, in absence of loneliness. Be encouraged. Connect with someone today or tomorrow if you don't have the chance today. Really, really do. I don't think social media interaction will really do it for you, so go smile at someone, go wave at someone on your walk. Don't be afraid to be embarrassed. Nobody cares. I love you. You're doing great. We're all gonna get through this eventually. Social isolation. Social isolation. Social isolation. Gosh, I hope this is picking up. It's so freaking windy.